this is Ader from Straight Shootin Outdoors. We got the crew here gathered today. We've been getting some requests to do a podcast for a little while now, and we're finally all in the same building at the same time, and we just actually got done our first measuring day here. Big buck show is what we're calling it, and it went pretty well, I would say. So we got Patrick here, Corey, and Tyrell. So yeah, I just kind of jotted down some simple questions we're gonna go through and just share a little bit of hunting stories and knowledge maybe, and see what you guys think. So let's just touch base. Like, what do you guys think of the day here so far, of the measuring day we put on here?
Go ahead, Patrick. You can go.
I thought it was super successful because we had no idea really what we're walking into, that there's been no measuring day in Taber for the last 3 years. We decided to do just a big buck show and not include other big game animals, and it went really well. We had at least around 100 people through the door, and around 70 sets of antlers that we scored, and all the feedback I heard so far has been really positive. So
Yeah, I got the same thing. Sponsors came through big time for our door prizes. We had big door prizes when it came to fire pits, targets, binoculars, tons and tons of shirts, t-shirts, hats, stickers, you name it, it was there. A lot of people that showed up, I would say probably a good 25% got door prizes. Close to that, I would say. Otherwise, yeah, we had other people help us out with it. 7-Eleven sponsored some free stuff, cookies, coffees. Tyrell's wife did some cupcakes, cookies that were a big hit, a bunch of different flavors. We had lots of good feedback. Yeah, it was, I would say, turned out very well for our first time doing it.
Yeah, volunteers stepped up too for scoring and stuff like that.
Yeah,
exceeded my expectations huge.
Well, and with something like that, it doesn't happen without the help of our scorers, and
volunteers.
Dad got them all rounded up, and they all volunteered, and once again, thanks to everybody that came, because without people bringing heads in, it's a flop, right? It ain't gonna happen.
That's right.
So big thanks to everybody that come down and help support us, and hopefully we do it again next year. And yeah, I thought it was a big hit. So with that being said, I got a couple questions here for you guys, and just so
hang on a sec. Being as it was our first year, I think we learned a lot. We'll sit down and have a little bit of meeting about it. What went well, what didn't, what we should change, what we could do differently next year.
Yeah.
And hopefully the show gets bigger and better.
Bigger and better.
Annual thing. Yeah.
So let's get to it. Let's have some fun with this, guys. Like, I know we've been in the works of this for a long time, and it's finally come together here.
Yeah,
so
looking forward to it.
Bear with us, I must say. Like, this is as real as it gets right now. So my first thing for you guys is what is your first hunting memory? I guess, what is the first thing you think of when that happened in your life, when you think about hunting and why you hunt, basically? So
that's a long time ago for me, because started hunting with my dad, gophers and rabbits and stuff like that, being 6 years old even. So got some memories of that. First, I would say big game memory though. First big game hunt, I remember quite well. We were hunting in the forestry at the Porcupine Hills. We were driving along an old logging road, and Dad sees up the cut line out my window a doe standing on the cut line, maybe 100 yards away, right? So I got my first gun, 30-30 lever action, bush gun, right? He says, just jump out on the side of the trail there and shoot her. So I did, and I'm just shooting like offhand, iron sights, and I smack her, she jumps in the air, kind of boxes and goes into the bush, and I thought, all right, got her. So we head up there looking for her, and there's a little bit of blood in the snow, and we're looking around, and I see the poor girl tucked up beside this great big tree trunk, neck up, very much alive, ears pinned back like a scared dog. When you come in the house, the dog's done something wrong, pinned back like scared for her poor life, and I'm like, oh my geez, I gotta shoot this thing again or something, point blank range, right? First shot didn't bother me at all. And Dad says, no, I'm just gonna cut her throat, right? So he gets out a knife and cuts her throat, and I'm like, okay, well, that part of it didn't bother me, because I know that's what hunting's about. And we were more a meat hunting family back then, so that's how you get your meat, and that's how you don't wreck more meat. You cut the throat, and the deer's gonna pass away pretty quickly. And the part that I remember the most, because it was a vivid memory, was I didn't expect that's what was going to happen with a gut shot animal when you do the gutting job. So obviously I'm shooting off hands, first time I'm shooting at a deer, shot her in the guts, didn't know that till we come up to her, right, and had to cut her throat. And my dad gutted that thing out, and I could not believe the smell. The sight didn't bother me, the smell. And you know, things like that I don't think have ever bothered me since in my entire life, those kinds of things, blood, guts, gore, smell, doesn't much faze me, but that very first time it really did. I sat down on a stump there as Dad finished that out, feeling sick to my stomach like I was going to puke on the ground, which I did not. But I mean, that's maybe why it was such a vivid memory that I can just imagine that smell even like right now, right? So don't gut shoot animals. There's a lesson of the day.
Well, that's something they don't teach you too. Like when people visualize hunting, they think it's one shot and done, right? They don't.
Not always.
It's not like that all the time, right? And
It's not fortunate enough to be that way.
No.
Unfortunately, you were stuck in not the best situation on your first, hunt, and that kind of sucks to be put in that situation. And a lot of people get deterred away from hunting from that specific
Bad
reason.
experience.
For sure.
Bad
Yep.
experiences off the start. So
and that is
Yeah.
part of hunting.
good on you for
right?
sticking with
absolutely.
it. And
Yeah.
there are better scenarios
Yeah.
to go through.
Like everybody wants a quick clean kill, but sometimes that's not what
Not the
happens,
cards.
right? That's part of the game, right? So
Yeah, you bet.
That's why I remember when my son first got shot an animal, it was a freaking moose. He didn't honestly gut shot it. He shot it in the front shoulder where he's supposed to. That thing went all the way quartering through the entire animal and came out the guts on the other side. So
Yeah.
he was full of it. I said, here's a shovel. Get it all out of there. I'm going to sit and watch.
yeah, and they're a lot bigger once they're on the ground too. Like, you don't
I'll hold his leg for you, but
yeah.
Moose isn't an animal you want to gut shot.
No.
They're already tough enough.
There's a whole
already.
lot of guts.
there's
in
a
there.
lot of guts, like a wheelbarrow full of guts. Oh,
Yeah,
more.
absolutely.
More than that.
Yeah. What about you guys?
I guess, most of my memories going back, first hunting memory, I would say two different things. I always remember my grandfather and my father specifically, and this is not me hunting, but them, every time that we went to visit them, they were big into hunting as well. We would come by, and their first thing they would tell us is we shot something, and you see the excitement on their face, and you get excited for them. You go out to the shop and whatnot, and they got it kind of hanging up or whatever they're doing. They kind of show it off to us, and getting us into it at that young age, it really hit good then.
Yeah.
And for me, my first hunting experience, though, I would say, to be honest with you, going back to what you said earlier, was just simple little stuff. We went rabbit hunting a lot with my uncle back east. He had some dogs for bunny hunting and whatnot, and was very good at it. I must say, like, we went out and we were very successful most of the times that we went out, and that's where the fun came with it. Like when you're bunny hunting, you're doing that small game, or the varmint hunting, you're not dealing with the overwhelming stuff right from the start, and you get that fun that comes with it.
Yeah.
Right? And there's not as a kid, you don't want a whole lot of work,
Yeah.
truthfully. And it was just a fun experience. So there's times where you go out, and you're in the middle of winter and you're bunny hunting, and you're sitting there and you're tapping your toes and you're whatever because your feet are getting cold, and you start moving and whatnot. And when you start getting stuff and that action comes alive, and then you grow into it and you start grabbing your own shotgun or your rifle or whatever you're doing hunting wise. It just, as you grow and you get into those bigger animals, you start to understand the respect from a small animal to a big animal, the difference in meat and all that stuff.
Okay, you need to explain to me that I do not know this. What is bunny hunting with dogs?
They have dogs, yeah. They're
So like a bird dog, they would like point a bunny and... or
no,
what?
I don't know why I can't think of the names of them. They're all not
Some kind of hound?
yeah.
They're just...
specific names.
So they're
for it.
flushing them or they're pointing them?
Like a coonhound?
No, they're chasing them, and they chase them across the trail in front of you. You can hear them, and they'll bark.
They're pushing bush, kind of.
They push bush. They basically push the rabbit. They'll get on
Never heard
trail
of
with a rabbit. They get behind them, and they start barking. And you'll hear the bark, and it starts coming closer to you, and they cross the trail. And as they cross the trail, obviously you're leading. You make sure that it's not the dog and the bunny, and you lead the bunny and just kind of.
They even have squirrel dogs.
Yeah,
Squirrel
100%.
hunting dogs.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
That was usually my job. Go push that bush.
Yeah.
Chase the bunnies out of there.
Well, you're noisy enough, so why not?
I'll think of the name of them here in a second. I don't know. I always do this weird thing where I go blank. I know the name of the dogs or the little.
Well, I think we all kind of started with small game like that, right? Like, even, well, it's weird you say that because, like, I kind of, this past couple seasons, like hunting with Tyrell, even, like, Tyrell eats rabbits and stuff like that. Like, it kind of brought back memories of shooting rabbits down at the forks and stuff like that, like with recurves and stuff like that. And now I see a rabbit, like I shot one this past season, which I probably never would have done before, but shot one just for practice and do a little money management out there because there's tons of them, right? And like I said, Tyrell eats them and
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're
talks
good.
about how good they
They
are.
are. They're excellent. Yeah, they're actually
Fantastic. Yeah.
somebody knows a recipe, and like we were chatting earlier around here, and we were talking about other game and the prep and what you do it. I don't think there's a animal out there, especially a wild animal out there, that I haven't enjoyed myself. But I do believe a lot of these people that are prepping them in certain ways are prepping them in a way that, you know,
Prepping them bad.
Oh, yeah.
if you're a good cook, you're a good cook.
Well,
If
that's
you're
just
shit,
it.
you're shit. Simple as that.
You can get
right? Like-
the best steak in the world if you cook it like shit, it's gonna still taste like shit.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Nothing
yes,
to do with the
bunnies-
animal.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Don't blame the
exactly.
animal.
Yeah, bunnies are good. Yeah, you do have to. Yeah, they are a little bit tough. If nobody's going to just grab them and throw them straight on the grill. Like,
It's all the prep that's
Yeah.
involved. Right?
Cottontails, you can get away with a little more
yeah,
than
a
a
little
hare.
bit more
Yeah.
than. Yeah, absolutely.
What about you? What brings back your first hunt
Well,
memories?
yeah, big hunting family. Like that's what we grew up on. You know, that's the meat we ate. So it was always exciting when mom and dad both went out, and always super pumped when they'd come back. You know, grandpa would watch us for the week or whatever. But personally, I guess, and again, it wasn't me hunting, but I went on my first trip. I had just turned 7. And my dad took my brother to watch a draw, and I went with my mom. She had her muley doe draw up by 3 Hills there, and of course I'm 7, so I'm a little fidgety and stuff. You know, I stayed back in the trees a little bit, and she ends up filling her muley doe draw, and I was part of it. You know, everything after that, hiked in, did the sit. She made the shot, great shot. I was holding legs for her and helping gutting out and dragging back to the truck, and then when we get home, we hang it up in the garage, start carving it, and you know, that's
I think that's
got me hooked. You know,
I think that's one of the most social aspects is when you do bring an animal back.
And everybody kind of.
Everybody
Yeah.
pitches in,
Groups
skinning.
together.
Yeah.
Everybody's butchering. It's
cutting
goes-
chunks of stew as a
tell
young
about your
kid.
day.
You know,
It
like
goes
it's-
back to say, like, there's a lot more to hunting than just shooting the animal. I'm so strong on that. Like, most of your hunt, like, shooting the animal comes down to seconds.
Oh yeah.
Most of the hunt is afterwards.
Yeah.
the work
Or
starts after you pull the
beforehand.
trigger, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not just going out and shooting that animal. And I'm strong on that belief, and I'll always stick to that. So, like you
Yeah,
say,
for sure.
that those memories, like you're saying.
Yeah, it brings
Family.
always brought the family together, and still does. You know, most of our
Yeah.
time now, you know, that we've all kind of grown up and moved away, but we'll come back together, come hunting season, try and hunt together and process and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you were 7. So do you remember growing up, when's the first year you were allowed to big hunt? 14 still, or you could be 12? Because it's been quite a few years it's been 12, but
Yeah, I can't.
when you're as old as me, I can't remember when that switch
And
was.
I wasn't.
but-
I didn't actually kill my first deer until I was 16. Is when I killed my first deer, but I think I went when I was 14 for the first time big game hunting.
Yeah. I think it was 14 because
Yeah.
it was 14 when I
14
was
for you.
younger.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember what year it was that it switched
Yeah,
to 12.
so I
You
was
know,
just
14,
tagging
12, so-
along as a 7-year-old, of course, you know, when
Yeah.
and it was, I still remember, you know, my mom opens up that deer, and seeing all intestines and, you know, liver and heart, lungs,
It's
seeing
not
all
for
that
everybody. No.
for the first time. And I was in there like a dirty shirt, you know, like, oh yeah, that's this, and
Yeah.
pulling stuff out, holding legs and
Yeah.
blood up to your elbows, and yeah.
It's not for everybody, and that goes back to say, you know, start small and work your way up.
Yep.
One of my first memories is because I would tag along with Dad when he'd bow hunt, right? And Dad
Okay.
used to hunt with a recurve bow, bare bow, and he had enough of compound at the time. And I remember this deer we would see all the time called Mue Grande. Dad named it.
Oh,
And this one time,
Mio Grande.
so I'd have sports one weekend I'd skip sports and go hunting and off and on, and we'd run into this deer every so often. And this one time we're in this coulee and Dad pokes up over the hill and he's like, he's right there, Mio Grande's there. You stay here. And I remember sitting there for what seemed like fucking 8 hours. Sitting there, I remember at one point, did he freaking leave me here?
Oh yeah.
Like, and I look over the hill and the deer's still sitting there. And I think I ended up like snoozing on the hill. Like, I can't remember how old I was. Like, I want to say like 10, 11, 12, something like that. Eventually Dad comes back. Yeah, I missed him, and all these curse words, and obviously hunting with a recurve, right?
Oh yeah.
And you're not successful, and like you don't know, right? Like you weren't there, you don't see what plays out, and it was. I remember we were after this deer every freaking weekend, right? Like he had him on the hit list. We were gonna get this deer, never did get him, and you always think back like what could have been, right? You always want to, even deer that you're after, you don't get. You want to know what they feel like. You want to know how big they were, like. You have a history with that animal. There's
Yeah.
a story to be told.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, I went out and shot a deer. Like, if you hunt that area long enough, you have relationships with these animals.
Yeah.
Right?
Most of them love hate.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
More frustrated than anything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like that deer that came into the show today.
Yeah.
We hunted them all bow season. Bow season here is 2 months long. So like
well,
every Saturday.
three of the
plus-
four of us have history with them. We've all three seen them.
And you know
except for
what?
Corey, right?
We seen him quite often. We got him on trail camera. We got video. We got pictures. We never ever once busted him out of there.
Yeah.
He would just come out in the wrong spot or pick
Yeah.
the wrong trail.
We had
And
a-
some other deer might get spooked here and there, but he never did, and yet we still
Well, think about how many times.
never got in bow range.
Think about how many
never
times
had a shot.
we had them at 130, 150 yards, 200
yeah.
yards.
Rifle shot.
With a rifle, it's
Yeah, you're
game
done.
over,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But archery is a whole nother ballgame.
So
right?
it was
yeah.
nice for me to see that deer today.
Oh, for sure.
To hold it and look at it and feel the mass and all that, and
At
see
least
that
you know-
his 7-inch
yeah.
point was busted off on him, and to see the score. For me, score's
Yeah.
kind of like I kind of had a.
What did he score?
I kind of had an idea in my mind hunting him what I think we'd score, and we had him at 140 plus, and he ended up being, if he would have had that 7-inch tine not broke off, he would be a 151 gross.
Yeah, you weren't far off, right?
151 gross, and we had him at 140, so he's bigger than that
151.
even. So he was nice deer.
I just found out mine scored 152 today. So he would have scored as much as this guy.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you got 3 animals scored today, eh?
I got 3 scored
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, my next thing is, it seems like an easy question, but I know it's not gonna be. Why do you hunt? What keeps you going? There's obviously heartaches and
Not all the time.
there's highs and lows, and sometimes it feels like you want to throw in the towel, but you guys do it every year.
Yeah.
Every year you put the grind on.
It's more than that. It's a way of your life. You're counting the days, and if you're not out hunting, you're shed hunting. You're scouting. You're watching hunting videos. You're talking to people about deer.
Yeah.
You're looking at somebody's deer. You're flipping through magazines. Your social media, deer. It's like all year long. It's an obsession
You know
for me.
how many
complete
times I heard
obsession.
today, guys? Yeah, I wish it was hunting season, or hunting season's almost here again.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Oh,
As
it's,
soon as one season's over,
Yeah,
you're thinking
yeah,
about the next one
exactly,
already,
yeah.
eh?
Counting how many days. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me right now, the big thing is shed hunting. Can't wait to get the dogs out and the grandkids shed hunting. For
Yeah.
me, this is shed hunting season. They're just about to start, right? So,
Fair enough.
what keeps me going? I don't know. Lots of things. It means lots. I don't even know if you can explain a lot of it. The personal reasons. And for me, it's been a way of life since I was a kid, and it's still an obsession.
yeah,
I think for me, myself, I think it comes down to I find a lot of peace in whether I am successful or not, especially where I live now. I found myself multiple times in the last few seasons kind of sitting up at the top of the mountain and just kind of like breathtaking views and stuff like that, and then catch myself sitting there for like 2-3 hours doing nothing and just looking. like blind, and you're lost, and you get lost in that moment. You don't realize just how much, peace comes with it. And not to say that all the time, because a lot of the stuff is like, it's pretty tough. Like, I find there's goals that you set in your mind beforehand, and you kind of strive for goals as well. It's a way to kind of be determined and meet goals as well. Whether that be not all the time shooting the biggest deer, or just getting your first in something, you know what I mean? Shooting your first elk, for
Milestones, yeah.
Milestones and stuff like that. There's lots of different things that you can do with it. Typically we start out rifle hunting, and then some people will move their way to bow hunting. That's a different goal. Or we'll go from crossbow compound to a recurve, whatever. It's setting goals and making them is very satisfying. It's fulfilling in the long run.
Yep.
Thank you. And
Like I can get with you on the same page. Like for me, I love having those goals in place, and sometimes there's nothing you can do to control if those goals happen or not.
a lot of time they don't.
There's situations where you have no control over them,
Absolutely.
and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
You always think that it's going to pan out one way, and it turns a different way. And 95% of the time, it never goes exactly.
I tell you what, I hunted hard with this guy. Was that last year or the year before? Hard for how many days?
I'm just thinking back when you said that prime example. You had them bucks coming in on a string, and that I think you said it was a whitetail busted out of the willows with a
blue
plastic
bag on his head,
garbage bag stuck in his antlers, busting everything out of there. Like,
it was the weirdest thing.
You couldn't make that up.
No, and I didn't even have my camera rolling at the time. It happened so fast, but like, it was the most unreal situation. These deer patterned them, coming straight to me.
On a string.
All of a sudden, crash, bang, boom, freaking, what the hell? This whitetail, bag on his head, runs by, blows everything out of there.
Bag.
Yeah, like a blue shopping
No
bag.
way.
Yeah,
And
out
I'm
in the middle of the wide open
I remember you
prairie.
telling me
What
that
the
story.
hell? Like,
I still laugh every time I hear it. Yeah, it's like, of course,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's too funny.
You can't make this shit up.
no,
That's
exactly.
right. Yeah.
What do you figure?
Well, it's kind of like you said, Patrick. Lifestyle is a big part. Like I've done it my whole life, and filling the freezer is very important for me because that's primarily what we eat. So it's that's the foremost. That's the first thing really important to me, is making sure I have that food for my family for the following year. And then of course you get the goals and the ambitions, and you do all the prep, the scouting, and you want to shoot something like this, right? And that's keeps it fun. And
It comes with it. I find the bigger animals come with just time and determination, like you
meant
said.
to be, right?
Set
Like,
a
right
goal
place,
and
right time.
be patient.
And that's so much of it. Right place, right
Oh,
time.
for sure. Yeah.
How many times?
There is a lot of luck in it, and you know what?
Mostly luck.
There is a lot of luck in it, but there are guys that learn how to scout better.
Put in
you know
the
what
time.
I mean, put in the time beforehand, and
Like
realize that these deer are here. Like you guys going out early season, or any guys going out early season looking for sheds. You know what I mean? At least when they shed that off, that caliber of deer is in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Some guys don't do that.
Hopefully it doesn't get drilled by a car.
Don't
between
get,
then.
don't get me wrong. Guys that scout, put trail cameras up, glass, shed hunt, definitely have more of a chance than guys that just show up on a weekend.
100%.
That's boots on the ground is a big thing too.
There is work
Yes.
that needs to be
Right?
done. Yeah.
So those guys definitely do have a better idea of what's in the area, what kind of caliber of deer are there.
But they're not always killing the biggest one
And
in
that's
that
just
area.
it too. Like I said, situations you can't control, out of your hand, right?
Yeah.
It's wild, right?
We've always said that saying is put your ass in the grass.
Yep.
The more time you spend out there, the more likely something's going to connect eventually.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
You can shoot them from the truck. It's not right. You're not supposed to, but you have a way better success rate
I can tell you.
being in the field, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly. And what kind of satisfaction do you get from just pulling up to
Exactly.
something
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
plugging your,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's, for one, it's not legal.
Yeah.
You talk to anybody that's
So,
put in a hike and shot something versus a guy that's drove down the road and shot something off the road. The guy that's put the hike in, the work in, the miles in is way more
enthusiastic.
enthusiastic.
About the story, everything. Yeah.
They feel like they deserved it. they feel like they've accomplished something
Yeah.
versus, there's a deer, shoot it,
Yep.
load it in
Yeah.
the truck, let's go, right?
Yeah, season was over in 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's exactly what I tried to do for my grandson this year. Get him on a walk and a hike and make him work for it, make him spot something, make him, be involved in the hunt. Not just slam on the brakes on the side of the road and shoot it, at stubble fields when like you see guys doing. No,
Yeah.
I don't want his first experience to be that.
Right.
And then when your guys'
Comes
first
with the
experience to
story.
be
No,
that either.
no. Yeah, you got to start them off, like you said, with a good experience. That's how you
Yeah,
hook
yeah,
people.
yeah.
That's how you hook
Yes.
Perfect.
future hunters, get them hooked on it, right? Like, so there is something to be said about doing it the proper
Putting in your
way,
work.
right?
Putting in your work, doing it the proper way. Yeah, absolutely.
So this one then is your absolute favorite hunting story to tell, whether it's yours or somebody you're with that shot something.
Here comes Corey with the story.
Buckle
Okay, you
up.
want to go first? You go.
No, I think we should start with Tyrell this time because he's gone last every time.
So yeah,
He
your
gets everybody
favorite
else's
favorite hunting story.
All right. Well, yeah, it would be last season. Killed my first cow moose, got the draw, went up northern Alberta there, and it's not a crazy long story. I was actually setting up, fixing to shoot a couple whitetail does, or hopefully one of them, that were coming in on a supplemental tag. Needed to fill the freezer, and I just see movement. There's patches of bush in amongst the stubble field. And I see big movement in the field behind, and the cow moose. This is awesome, it's just that right time, right place, meant to be, and yeah, she came charging through and cut the corner of the field I had permission on. She didn't run 150 meters diagonal through the field, like it was barely on the property. She crossed the line and I was proned out to, I think it was 216 meters. Proned out, tried stopping her, gave the old man some kind of noise to try and stop her, and she just no give a care, just kept trucking. So I flipped the switch and hit her, and she didn't slow down, heading right for thick bush.
Tough.
So I rolled the bolt and boom, hit her again, and she slowed, but was still walking, and I wanted her down quick, because I didn't want to try and recover out of the trees, the swamp, right? So worked the bolt again, and wham, and that shot, that was my shot. It was a little farther back, and that stopped her. You could tell she kind of did the hunch. She was in a lot more discomfort, but she was still standing there and still eyeing up that bush she wanted to go. And she stood there, and so I dropped another one in, and wham, hit her again, and down she goes. And then, I'm just waiting. I worked the bolts, and I dropped another one in, and I'm waiting, counting down. Feels like hours, but it's minutes, and you see snow fly and stuff. So I know she's down, she's not getting back up, but wait just in case, because that's what Dad taught me to do, is be ready, because you never know when something can hop up and take off, right? So when given it 5 or 10 minutes, I was with my brother, and so we get up, we hike up, and there she was. From first shot to last shot, she had only traveled about 30 meters. And I had, there was one wound that was probably, I could fit my hand into it. So I obviously hit her a couple times there, and then there was one small entry on the back farther. I didn't end up splitting the guts, but it was behind the diaphragm. Luckily, I didn't have to pull the shovel out
Get into the guts.
and empty out the guts. But yeah, it was just unreal. Like you said, they're big, and they're big, but it's just so daunting. You walk up to this animal, and overwhelming emotion. I've killed tons of animals, but my first moose, and I've helped Dad process his moose, but when it's your own and you're older and you're in the field, like, what has to happen, what you have to do, but you don't even know where to start because it's so big. You're like, well, but it was very fortunate because my brother was on good terms with the landowner, so we could drive right in, hook up to her and pull her to the front. And he left me there, and I went to work and started gutting her out and doing my thing. And
he drove home and got his backhoe and came in, scooped her up, drove back to his place, and didn't have to drag her an inch.
Yeah, you got lucky then.
Yeah, oh yeah, and dumped her off, picked her up with the backhoe, parked the quad trailer right underneath her, skinned it all down right into the quad trailer, super neat, clean. But
Yeah.
that's that's my favorite hunt, just because it's, it was fast, it was quick, it was, I don't know, it was just new experience. Probably mostly I've killed a lot of whitetails and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
that one, it's just, it's fresh and it resonates the most. That new animal. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's weird how some stand out different than others.
And fills a freezer, over 17 cubic foot freezer. I had to buy brand new, filled it top to bottom. It's just awesome. Yeah.
It's good meat.
Yeah, it's great.
I might switch it up here a little bit and tell you one of my most memorable hunts. I'll maybe do one of my most memorable hunts that was just unsuccessful, because it does stand out, and then I'll do it quick, and then another one. But one that really stands out to me a lot was the first year I ever got my bow to go bow hunting. We did a lot of time scouting in this one area where we set up trail cams on a wallow, and there was natural mineral licks on it and whatnot. And we had almost 6,800 pictures within 4.5, 5 months, something like that. It was just unreal, of elk, mule deer, whitetail. There was moose mixed in with mule deer every once in a while, licking this ground, and they'd stay there for however long. And we went in the day before bow season started and set up camp. And this area is pretty heavy for grizzlies, in fact, actually. And so we were kind of being cautious of that. It was raining that night. And a few quads, actually, we got set up, and a few quads were on the trail not too far behind us. And they actually stopped right behind us on the trail for a quick break. And then they finally realized that we were there because we were blending in, and they took off. We were having supper, cleaned up, went to bed, and then I knew I heard something in the middle of the night rumbling around, and I was so scared. Like, I instantly thought, grizzly bear, grizzly bear, grizzly bear. And we've been warned about this one huge sow with 2 cubs that shouldn't even be with her in the area. And that's all I was running through my mind, and I had bear spray, knives, and a bow. I was sitting in a one-man tent next to my brother in a one-man tent. So I'm sitting there and I'm shaking and whatever, and I'm just thinking to myself, just go to bed, just go back to sleep. And I'm freaked out. Wake up in the morning, and the only thing I think of is go walk around and check for sign. So sure enough, after those quads had ripped up and down on a wet dirt road, we went back out there, and sure enough, there was a big grizzly bear tracks, because you can see the claws on the grizzly bear, followed by 2 other sets of tracks in behind it. So she was in the area that night, so we were pretty nervous getting out the next day. We kind of bailed out to a different area just to stay out of the area, because we knew she was around. And we ended up getting up to that area and scouting another area, which we actually had our trail cam in. And we thought we seen something, so we just got curious, and we ended up packing in for about an hour, going up and over to the next ridge, glassed into that wallow. And sure enough, there was 2 bulls and several different cows down there. They were kind of moving around through the brush. You couldn't really count. Wind wasn't in our favor at that point. Didn't really want to do calling from where we were, because we knew they were settled in that wallow and doing their thing, and they were moving around with the cows. So we ended up boots off, socks, everything, walked around this whole ridge, come down on them. Long story short, we get in within 60 yards of these things, and we're trying to call and whatnot, and my brother's doing a couple cow calls to see if he can draw that bull in, but the cows for some reason weren't really having it. And then they started walking off, and as those cows started walking off, we kind of looked at each other, and he set up on this tree that had fallen over, pretty big tree, and he's about 30 yards this way, I'm 30 yards this way, should have been set up different. They started walking off, so desperation blows a bugle, and I can still remember to this day looking and seeing that elk, and the eyes just changed and his demeanor changed 100%, and just charged straight towards us, running full tilt. And I remember and my brother, I lost track when my brother looks over at me and he's like, he's coming straight at us. And I peeked up over and he's literally running straight at me, and I'm telling you, like, this is the tree, and he's literally one more step, he was jumping that tree, landing directly on me, and he turned before that tree and circled around that hillside 2 times, and then he went over to the left of us, and I ranged him at 52 yards, and this is through thick brush, neck up and everything, and I'm getting kind of worked up even thinking about it right now, but I still remember to that day thinking, like, why don't I have a shot? Like, should I just take the shot? And it's like, but you had no shot, right? And as soon as those cows went up the hill, he was gone. But the racing of your heart, everything that just happened so quick, we came down off of that hill at noon, and we had no energy left in us. We were beat. We were beat at that point.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, Corey, the story, here we go, with Sly Guy. And you can tap in on this one. Sly Guy was successful hunt. We started scouting early season, had him in velvet on camera multiple times. A few of us had chances on him. Me and you specifically went in that one first day. And
well, the first day we seen him, right?
the first day we seen
right time,
him,
right place.
we had a few deer, actually.
Yeah.
You had chances on them like you guys had a play, or you guys had shots?
We snuck in on him.
Anybody ever had a shot?
I had a shot.
Somebody took a shot on him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Told me not to rush.
Yeah, I had a shot at him that first day when he was in
Okay, yeah.
velvet. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
And then Sarah had a chance.
Sarah had a shot at him. Yeah. And then
she was full draw and couldn't find him in her peak.
yeah. And my goal that year was specifically to get a full velvet deer. And we had him full velvet, and we were so stoked about it. And we were in 36 yards. I think it was 36 yards after he went around the slough.
I think
so
we
had
were
him on one side, then he went around the slough. We're like,
50-ish.
what the hell? How did he get around to the opposite side of the slough?
Yeah, he went
Because we were
right
on one
through.
side of the knoll.
Yeah.
And then we got him to the opposite side of the slough, and we got set up, and I swear we must have sat there for what I feel was several hours, but it might have only been 45 minutes.
We had to go through the slough too, though.
And we had to take our boots off. We're up past our knees in this stinky, muddy water and get laid down and whatever. And yeah, anyway, long story short, we had a few chances at him, and the day that we went in, it was raining, pouring. I bought my new rain gear, and Adrian was giving me crap about he thought my rain gear was too loud and whatnot, and
I'm a stickler for loud gear.
it was weird because the rain poured as soon as we got out of the truck, and we crawled through the tall grass. We waited for him to bed down, all that stuff, and on the open prairie. And by the time we got in, the last 15 minutes of that, the rain, it's like it just shut off, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then we were crawling in. You were ahead of me with the camera and whatnot, and then kind of just coaching along, really, in the long run. And then, we got within, what was it? He was 44 or 46.
44, 45 yards,
Somewhere
like
in that range. And then, he's bedded, and you could start seeing the head going like this and like get ready. So knocking arrows and whatnot. And then sure enough, he stood up and just started feeding. And there's a few other animals around him. And he gave me time, didn't know we were there. And I just drew back and let her fly.
I think we got.
He just instantly just down.
Yeah, you can hear in the video. I'm like, I got him. Go, go, go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you smoked him.
Smoked him. I did hit him a little bit high. It spined him, and it did drop him right there. And we did get an arrow in him again real quick, and he expired after that. But that was exciting to see, how the whole thing went down.
Yeah. Like I said, history with an animal, right?
History.
That plays a huge role.
Yeah.
versus just stumbling across something that you've never seen before.
Well, and I never had history with them at all, just from what you guys,
Yeah.
stories you guys told me and stuff like that. But then even though the video's not the greatest, we get to relive it, watching it,
Yeah.
you filming and you hearing you guys talking right over your shoulder, seeing it happen. I said the video's not great, but we were there watching it happen still. It was an exciting hunt,
Yeah.
exciting as hell.
Well,
You got
even
bow hunt.
even
You
the
got an
first
animal like
time,
that?
even the
It's
first
awesome.
time we seen him, we have that on video. You can hear him cross the swamp in the video, swimming across the swamp.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, that long history, like
Yeah.
you said, all season long.
Yeah,
A few
exactly.
of us taking chances out of them, and,
Yeah.
and you know, and then finally coming together. Ultimately, I didn't get my velvet buck that year, but you know what? I couldn't be happier. It's still to this day. Well, after today, I officially found out. Yeah, it's by 2 points the highest deer I've ever scored. So,
Yeah.
What did it score?
what did it score?
162.
162, which was a lot lower than I thought, but.
I think
Because we scored it after you shot it,
Well,
and I
Ross
can't
scored.
remember unless
So
I
I
look,
thought I
unless
think you were
look back.
168 gross and 162 net, which if you're counting net,
Yeah, I was saying that.
yeah. Most
Net
people just
score.
go by gross. 'Cause-
Yeah.
But yeah, hell of a
I
deer
think you
with
had
a
it
bow.
171,
Oh, yeah. Awesome deer.
171 gross originally, didn't
Yeah.
we? So I mean, within a couple
something like that.
points. So whatever it is, what it is. But
Hell of a deer with a bow, right? Hey, anybody today I talked to about it was like, I'd shoot that deer in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
a lot
Hey,
of people,
like-
a lot of people are shocked when you come in here to scoring.
Yeah.
A lot of people really get shocked at not knowing. They think
Oh,
deer,
yeah.
oh, I shot a 180. You bring it in, a lot of time it's 150
Well, I was talking to quite a few
Oh,
guys today
all the
because
all the time.
when you're hunting, you hear so many stories. Oh, I seen 200 inch there. I seen a 190 there, and then these guys bring these deer in, and it's not close to that. Like there's not just 200 inch running around everywhere.
No,
Like it's. I think in the moment, guys get taken away by it because it's a big deer. To me, any deer when you're up close and personal is a big deer. If it's a nice 4x4, it's a big deer when you're up close.
Yeah.
Right? It looks bigger.
That's
It
your
just-
judgment. That's
Oh,
your
yeah.
judgment. And depending on what you shot in the past, like I find use your judgment on it. If you've beat what you've done, if that's your goal
Yep.
to beat it the last year that you did,
Yeah.
then so be it. Whatever. Or if you just want to fill the freezer every year. Everybody has different goals.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
But
sure.
yeah, I guess that's not what we're talking about, but still, you know, either way, yeah.
Yeah.
It's it was a fun day, and it was good to find out the score of all of these animals
yeah.
that we've been waiting for because we haven't been able to do it for several years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I know you're a little more experienced than us, so you probably got way more stories to pick from, but
Well, I've been trying to, think what's,
which one is the favorite?
I don't know, I got lots of good hunts, favorite hunts, and favorite hunts for different reasons.
Yeah.
Some because they're successful, some because of the whole experience of it, some because who you were with,
Yeah.
some because it's, their first animal or something like that. I guess my favorite hunt, or one of my favorite hunts was obviously going to the Yukon to hunt for moose and sheep and caribou, because I don't know what kid in the world doesn't have a dream of going to Yukon and hunting from when they're a kid growing up, like I did anyway. So the chance
If
came
that's your
up,
background, yeah.
I was lucky enough to get, I won a hunt for a Dall sheep. Well, that's like a $35,000 hunt, or even more now, I think. Like, if I win that and I'm going to the Yukon, my goal in my whole entire life has been a Yukon moose, right? That would be my number one hunt if I could choose
Yeah.
one. So I said, well, there's no way I'm going to the Yukon without a moose tag and a caribou tag in my pocket.
Yeah.
Well, that pushes you back to a combo hunt, 2 more years before we can get you in. And that's called a combo hunt, so that's an extra couple of days you got to pay for and all this. I'm like, fine, and I need some time to save up some money because it costs so much more than just what the original sheep
Yeah.
hunt was. So, and it was a great hunt because it was successful, and I got 3 animals, but it was a great hunt because I got to go to the Yukon just to see what hunting is like there and experience it, and be bouncing around in a little bush playing off gravel bars and stuff like that, flying by mountains and seeing
Cool.
sheep on the side of the mountain, flying by and seeing a big caribou skull laying down in the open muskeg or whatever they call it there, and you're like, man, if I could just land this plane and pick that thing up or
As,
whatever.
as a shed hunter, it's probably
Yeah,
killing
exactly.
you.
It
Hey?
was, yes. And just see animals that you never really seen before, like example, like caribou close up and stuff like that. I saw wolverines. I saw lynx. I saw a grizzly bear for a couple of seconds, kind of. But the moose itself was just a bit of, I guess, an entertaining kind of story that Shot my sheep and caribou both on day 1 of a 12-day hunt. And I'm like, that suits me just fine. I got 11 days to look for a moose. That's my goal, number 1 animal anyways. You should be able to find a nice animal in 11 days. Tell you the honest truth, was the biggest moose we came across in 11 days. And it was on the last day. So it was him or nothing, basically, right? And we hadn't really got the best look at him, but we got to cross the river to go get a look at him. And the guide told me too, he says, if we put this effort into going across the river and up that mountain to go get him, when you get there, you will shoot. 90% of the guys will shoot. You say you're going over there to get a good look at him and make up your mind when you get there, your mind will already be made up because you're invested. You are invested into that, right to that last one. And he was right. There was no hesitation when I seen him. When you're that close to a Yukon moose, it's not like any moose I've seen in my life, and they turn like that, and they're this freaking wide. You're just holy crap, right? Going across the river to get him. Okay, my guides are like 6'1" and 6'4". I'm like 5 foot, whatever. We got to get to the river and cross this river. So we get to the river, and I look at it come over the bank, and I go, "You mean this raging friggin' torrent of a river? We got to cross this on foot?" So as I'm looking for a good spot, where can I cross? Like, this thing's up to my waist and it's raging, right? Maybe I could cross there, maybe there. I look, they're already across the river, these two guys. Wave, let's go. Holy crap. So I started to cross the river. Made a mistake reading it. Almost made it across. Just about the other side, boom, I biff it completely. Backpack, me, head, camera, rifle, everything under the water. Started kicking for shore. One of the guys reaches down and pulls me up like this, and I'm just a wet rat, right? But my backpack was full of 200 pounds of water because we had the backpack empty on the way over there, thinking it's going to be a successful hunt. All this water's pouring out of my backpack for a minute or so. Camera's wrecked. Scope is all fogged up on this gun. And he says to me, "Hey, hang on, I think I got a dry shirt in my backpack." Is that really going to matter at this point? I'm covered in 14 layers of clothes and rain gear, and like, thanks for the shirt, but let's go. Let's go shoot this moose. Got the moose, came back down, got across the river and everything. It was a long day, but great hunts, successful hunt, one of my best memories. The only way it could have been improved on, though, was being with a family member.
Yeah.
Like, all my hunts in the past have either been solo or with friends or with family. And then to go up there and you're with two guides. Well, you become pretty good friends, as best friends as you can become in 10, 11 days of hunting with the same guys. But it's not the same as having someone there that you really care for and that you love and your family there to share it with. That's what I missed about it. And you couldn't just like pick up a phone and phone them or FaceTime them or anything like that either to share that moment, right? So it wasn't as much as like hooting and hollering and high-fiving and stuff like some of the other hunts you've been on. When that moment happens, it's so adrenaline rush. It was, but it was different. It just didn't have that climax of sharing that moment. So I kind of missed that, but yeah, that was one of my better hunts for sure.
Yeah, I think the only real communication you had with us back home was just, you had a spot, and it was, here's my location.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Yes, I'm okay.
The preset message is, yes, I'm okay. I'm still alive or whatever.
Yeah,
That's what you get for 12 days.
Weirdly enough, I think, if my memory serves me correct, when you were in the Yukon, that's when Corey shot Sly Guy, or you were coming home the day he shot Sly Guy. Somebody shot a deer on the day when you were up there shooting your moose. Maybe I shot a deer. I can't remember exactly, but somebody shot a deer when you were up there. Or maybe we had a blown stock with Sly Guy, but when you got home...
He was gone some...
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was. Yeah, because he scored it the following day. Because I stayed
because it was right after. You had it. You had it.
Yeah, and I was waiting. We were waiting for you to get home from something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, like, it's just weird how things work, right? Yeah. Like, well, same being said, like, I remember my favorite hunting story is with Grandpa. Me and him I had a archery antelope tag. He had an archery antelope tag, actually, weirdly enough. And we had mule deer buck tags, general for archery. And we hunted mule deer all morning. And we had a couple stalks on antelope, and it's sun's going down last hour of the day, and we're walking back to the truck, and all of a sudden this little antelope buck, well, I shouldn't say little, he's all right. He's coming along the trail, nose to the ground, yeah, he's coming. And he starts walking broadside, and I'm like, "Oh, Grandpa." And my grandpa's like, "Well, shoot him." And I'm like, I didn't shoot a ton of archery back then, like, kind of just had a bow, shot up to about 40, 50 yards. Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, 60. And I'm like, "Well, I only have a 50-yard pin." And my grandpa's very well known in the archery community. Like, he knows anything there is to be known about archery. And he's like, "Just put it on his back and let it fly." here I've missed 100 animals up to this point. Like, I'm not expecting anything. Put it on his back, follow through. Kind of like, I remember drawing back and I'm like, well, I'm looking for this arrow, I guess. Like, totally thought I'm just gonna miss
No confidence
this thing,
in
right?
yourself, eh?
Double lugged up, passed right through. This thing is spinning in circles, and I didn't even watch him go down. I just turned to Grandpa right away, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. And he's like, watch. And I turned around, and it ran about 20 yards, flopped on the ground, and was doing the old kick, eh? And me, and like you said, somebody you love, and you're with, and you're hugging and high-fiving, and it was just, first bow kill was an antelope at 60 yards. Like, not a lot of people can say they've shot an antelope with a bow, and that's your first animal with a bow. Like, it was freaking awesome, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one that'll go down forever. And it's weird because those hunts, you can envision them. They happen so fast.
A lot of people don't get a chance to go on hunts with their
Oh,
grandparents.
no, right?
Yeah.
I never did.
Yeah.
I wish I could have, because like I said earlier,
same,
that
you
was, you know,
Yeah,
it's
I
one
never
of
got
those
to.
things. Yeah, it's one of those things, and if you can get a chance to do it, I highly recommend, especially if they're into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spend the time to do it.
it's great
'Cause
family
when they're
time.
gone, you don't get a chance.
That's right.
It's awesome family time, family friend time. Like, think about how many times you've been in a shitty situation with somebody hunting, and that bond just grows. Like, I didn't know Tyrell before we started doing this. I met Tyrell. Tyrell was actually one of our first giveaway winners. Corey knew him a little bit, and we just kind of hit it off. Next thing you know, we're hunting together and scouting together, and you grow bonds with people, right?
right.
It's crazy what hunting, who brings who together when you're hunting or outdoors, right?
That's right.
So, kind of brings me to my next topic here. So, if you could teach the hunting community anything, if you could teach them one thing, what would be that one thing you could really stress to people to learn or not take advantage of, I guess?
We'll leave the old guy to last. He's got the most knowledge.
Yeah.
What do you think, Adrian?
Well, my big thing is cherish those moments with family and friends. Don't take advantage of hunting, because every day people are trying to take hunting away from us. They're trying. There's no grizzly bear season anymore in Alberta. You used to be able to bowfish pike, and I vividly remember talking to people younger than me. I'm not that old. I'm 30 years old, but people younger than me that laugh and you say, you know what? You should contribute to a group. Like, do something, because hunting, they can take hunting away. And I remember people telling me, hunting isn't going anywhere. And then you think back to things like the grizzly bear hunt or being able to bowfish for pike. You can't do that anymore, because every day they're taking hunting away.
I think there's some provinces that you can't bow hunt in even.
Yeah, like it's crazy, right? Every day they're taking
more and more.
They're fighting to try and take more and more.
Yeah.
So get out, help a local club. There's tons of clubs out there. Right now they're trying to take firearms away too. That has a lot to do with hunting. Like, get out there and fight for what you enjoy, because it might not be around forever.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, seeing that my message is the exact same as yours, then I'll talk now, because that was exactly what I was going to talk about, you know. Teach the next generation, teach them right, get them interested in it, get the numbers back up, get more females hunting out in the field. And I don't care if it's bow fishing hunting, rabbit chasing with dogs, it doesn't matter. It's all hunting, and it's all legal, and it's all healthy food, it's all time well spent. There's tons and tons of groups trying to take that away from us.
Yeah.
And the government will cave to them.
Yeah.
They're doing it more and more every day. And our rights are getting infringed upon, our rights are being taken away from us. And join as many groups as you can. There's conservation groups. Talk to your politicians, talk to your MLAs.
Yeah.
Send things to the government about the gun laws. I don't know.
Another thing,
Et cetera, et cetera.
Another
You guys
thing to
know
add
it.
on
You
to
guys
that.
have heard it before.
We're all
A lot
part
of guys don't do it.
We're all part of the same team. You get on
Yes.
social media, and this guy's bashing this
Yes.
guy because he hunts with a crossbow, or he
Yeah.
shoots bears, and you don't agree with hunting bears. Or we are all in this for the same goal.
Yeah. Or if you're a stand hunter,
Yeah.
or if you're
Stop.
spot and stock, or
We need to fight anti-hunting and stuff like that versus fighting you because you black bear hunt, or,
Yeah, or
fighting
you-
you because you shoot rabbits. Like,
or you rifle hunt.
yeah,
rifle
like
hunt,
that's totally. I just laugh at it. It's totally ridiculous that we're fighting each other versus working together.
There's factions all over the hunting community, right? There's things that are what people might not see as completely ethical, like hunting with dogs, hunting with baits.
Or
Speaking of hunting with dogs,
Spear hunting.
I told you I'd think of the name of the dog, and it's a beagle.
Beagle.
Yeah, it's a beagle.
Okay.
Spear hunting,
They
you're not
call
allowed
them
to do in
rabbit
Alberta
hounds
anymore,
back
right?
home.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
spear hunt. Like,
Beagles.
I think to if you don't agree with that hunting, you don't have to do it.
Yes.
But don't be going on social media or
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, that's crap."
Yeah, as long as it was legal.
If it's hunting and it's contributing to conservation, the ecosystem, Ducks Unlimited, stuff like that, then we're all working towards the same goal. here.
Yeah, we're all on the same
hunters,
team. and
Hunters
there's too
are
many
the biggest contributors
branches.
to conservation, and whoever wants to be against it, they can be against it. That's your own opinion.
Yeah.
But
Do your
You
research.
do your research before you bash us on what we are doing.
Yeah.
We can, like I said, we contribute more money into conservation.
Oh, yeah.
Every bit of our tags, every bit of our draws that we put in every
Licenses.
year, licenses, everything, that money goes towards conservation. Whether that goes to wetlands stuff, like
Yep.
developing wetlands, anything, saving birds. We are not just in it to kill animals. We are in
Well,
it to save
it's-
wildlife,
it's
to bring the
Research
population
for,
up.
for CWD and stuff.
Right?
You know, you got to do your harvest
It's even
reports.
more.
You got to
It's
do.
even more than just tags. It's the fuel you spend gets taxed. The gear
Exactly.
you buy gets taxed. Like it's everything you spend money on to hunt, and it's not cheap.
But it's a huge boost to the
Oh
economy.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Then you're paying
that,
guides
That,
and
that would be
jobs.
one thing that
Yeah,
I would
sure.
say is like educate yourself on what we do before and we do put a lot of our money. It's not a cheap sport. Whether you want to call it a sport or not, it is.
Yeah.
But it does cost money.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of passion that goes into it, a lot of work that goes into it, and yeah, we are definitely about conservation and not just, I know this group for sure is, because I probably would have shot something. I haven't shot something in
Yeah.
the last year I didn't shoot anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't because I'm not crooked and doing anything in the wrong way. I don't want to do it in the wrong way. There's no satisfaction in doing it.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah,
do it that
you
way.
can't judge all hunters by the one or two
And-
bad apples.
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly.
Truly just enjoy the experience that comes with it.
Yeah.
There's more, like we went back earlier to saying, spend the time with your family when you have the time to spend
Yeah.
with your family. If you're going to go out and do it, like you don't always have to have you shoot something to have a successful hunt.
Yeah.
The last couple years, I strove to shoot an elk. They weren't unsuccessful seasons.
No.
Just because I didn't shoot something. I learned tons of
Oh, yeah.
knowledge and, learned a lot about different terrain.
Yeah.
It's take it all in. Don't just go out to shoot something. Take it all in.
Yeah.
Like the outdoor experience, the peace that comes with it.
Yeah.
That's
Like we
right.
said
One
earlier.
thing I actually listened to quite a few hunting podcasts, and one thing that really hit me was, so I'm 30. You think about, just to make the numbers easy, if I was done hunting at 60, I only have 30 more. If there's an archery mule deer season, and that's what I love to hunt, for every year, I only have 30 more mule deer I can shoot
Yeah.
in my entire lifetime.
Yeah.
When you think about it like that, that's really not a lot of time.
Unless you're going out of province
Like if
or
you if you think,
different state.
like how old are
That's
you,
the
Dad,
only way.
again?
Not everybody has that money.
So I'm 57. I got a lot less meal there left
Well,
in my
that's what I'm
lifetime.
saying. Like if you break it down like that, it's really, you don't have a ton of time to hunt. If your body breaks down and you're wearing down your joints, or
Oh yeah, for sure.
you got bad shoulders, like,
Well, if you got to work
oh,
most full time through the season, you
Yeah.
only get,
yeah, exactly.
eight weekends to do it.
All
you
of us
know,
have
all year.
regular jobs,
Yeah.
full-time regular jobs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's just it. We're not getting paid to do what we do.
No.
We started this because we're out there anyway. We want to share knowledge with
love what we
anybody
do.
that wants to listen.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, we'll take knowledge from anybody that wants to share too. Like we're not saying
We're not, yeah,
sure.
we're
We're
not
not
the most
masters.
educated.
Yeah.
We're not the most
Exactly.
yeah, we're not masters of this craft. We aren't, and you're a fool to say that you are.
Yeah.
You're sitting in
Oh,
front of
yeah.
everybody. Everybody can learn something.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, a lot of the time I like just sitting back and making like going with you guys and just have you guys take control.
Oh,
and
yeah.
see what you would do different. If I see something that stands out with anybody that I go with,
Yeah.
I'll probably point something out. But I do like analyzing other people when I'm on hunts as well, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I guess we'll move on to Tyrell here.
Yeah, I guess it would be, and it kind of segues into this is, you know, instead of turning on each other, like, especially with social media and stuff now, guys seem to always have to have some kind of reason to justify their kill. If they're not shooting, you know, a 200-inch deer, if they shoot a forker, then it's like, oh, well, you know, it was last day of the season, or it's, you know, you should be happy with what you harvested.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be happy with it, then
You shouldn't have shot
Then
it.
don't
pass.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't have to. You should be pumped. You should be thrilled for what you've harvested, and you know, happy for your friends for what they harvested.
Yeah.
You know, if they shoot a monster, and don't just automatically high fence deer.
Yeah.
You know, because they're out
Oh,
there.
there's so much of that, eh?
Oh,
They're out
Pointing
there.
fingers is the worst.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
like there's freaks out there, and
Yeah.
guys do kill them, and they're not high fence deer. But don't just write it off because you haven't shot one. If
Yeah.
it's jealousy or whatever, you know, be happy with what you kill and be happy with whatever's killed.
Well, like, it's funny you say that because one of the big things is a kid will go out and shoot their first deer, and guys are, oh, why would you shoot that dink? Give that kid a slap on the back and say, hey man, good
Yeah,
job.
be thrilled.
Good freaking job. That's your first deer? Hell yeah. Not, oh, why didn't you hold out?
Well, there was a young kid that come in here today, that fella that brought in the one that hung on the wall, the
Yeah.
mounted one last night. He didn't bring his kid's deer in.
Yeah.
Well, he shot a 2-point. Well, he shot it for the meat, the dad says, and I'm like,
Doesn't matter
he
if
brought a
it's
2-point in, bring it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Doesn't
today
matter
in the
if it's a
back
flat
room, when
top or not.
we're scoring in the back room, he says the same thing. Well, maybe I'll shoot something bigger next year, he says to his kid, and I said, whatever you bring it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it in.
Well, and that's one thing I wanted to stress to people today is a lot of measuring days they do. Biggest heads get prize.
It's not a
Here,
competition.
You bring a head in, you get a ticket to get into the draw. We're not making this about antler size. Yeah, it's kind of cool to compare. Like this one's a 180, this one's a 160, this one's a 140 with junk. It's nice to compare, but at the end of the day,
We all get lucky at some point to
Oh,
shoot
yeah.
nice animals.
Yeah.
And you know what? We will get to that point, but a lot of it, like we said earlier, comes with the scouting, comes
Yeah.
with the time that you put in and whatever. But
well, and with you saying like, be happy with what you shoot, there's other goals than just shooting
Yeah.
a big deer. I've worked, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, on being able to draw my bow, no target panic, hold on an animal, follow through with a shot.
the work you put
How
in
many-
is-
How many times does that process go like that and you're like, oh, did I punch it? Oh, did I jerk my arm? So last couple of deer I shot, I don't care what size it is, as long as it's a mature mule deer, come to full draw, hold on that animal, wait for a good shot. There's something to be said for personal goals versus a deer with big antlers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, if you don't want to shoot it, then don't shoot it.
yeah,
You're not
exactly.
gonna be happy with it. Like I shoot flat tops every year.
You have nothing to prove to anybody else. It's your tag. That's why your name is on it.
That's right.
Right?
whose freezer's full every year?
I don't remember the last buck I've shot.
Yeah.
You know, I shoot flat tops every year, and if
Yeah.
I do a good shot, like my doe and my moose both this year, with the exception of the one, but
Yeah.
3 rounds in that moose were through the heart lungs,
Yeah.
and I was thrilled.
And on the other side of that, if you want to hold out for a 200-inch deer, power to you.
Yeah.
Because you're letting a kid shoot a 150 or
Right.
his first deer.
Yeah.
By the
exactly.
way, I didn't shoot anything last year. I might need some meat.
I got you.
It sounds like between us, we haven't shot a whole hell of a lot in the last 2 years, between us as a group even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
Like,
not big
I shot
animals.
one animal this year. He shot one animal this year.
Yeah,
He
I
shot a cow moose.
and a white-tailed doe.
And
My
white-tailed
last
doe.
year was
this
the
year,
worst.
nothing, and then-
Last year was the worst year I've ever
Yes.
had.
So there you
last
go.
year I was a
It's
muley
not
doe
all
and
about
a
this
white-tailed doe.
right here.
Yeah.
It's not all about just this.
But like I said, going back earlier, was it an unsuccessful season harvesting wise? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it
Yes.
was.
Got
Yes.
some tag soup.
Did I learn more again and learn
Oh, yeah. Of
a
course you
lot
did.
of knowledge?
You're in brand new
Absolutely.
country.
Yeah,
so
I
you
was-
learn-
Learning
just gonna
brand new
say.
country.
You learned
I
a
just
ton.
moved to a completely different country. I'm used to hunting the prairies. Now
province.
I'm
Yeah.
up in the mountaintops and heavily treed areas where you can't glass much further than
Yeah.
really 30, 40 yards. You could see everything with the naked eye. So it's a whole adjustment for me, but learning how those animals pattern differently from what I'm used to here Alberta compared to
Well, and
BC now is
seasons too,
completely
right?
different, and
Yeah.
the seasons change. Everything's
Climate.
different. Climate's
Huge.
different. Yeah, it's a and yeah, it's not an unsuccessful season to me at all. Like I say, I will learn from it and we'll move forward, and hopefully, yeah, we get to the point where we're harvesting stuff
Yeah.
every year. Right?
Well, that's all you can hope for, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of look back at my season too, and it's not just if you got an animal or if you got a big animal or if you got one with a bow or not. It's did anybody else with you have success? And success isn't always just a buck either. We were up hunting sheep.
Yeah.
I shot a double kill on blue grouse with one arrow
Yeah.
on video, which made me happier than hell.
Yeah.
And it's a couple of blue grouse, I know, but it's something rare that happened and it was exciting. But also I measured the end of my season too. Did I find any good sheds? Did I find any new good areas? Did I get any new permission on land? How many good photos do I got? I'll take a good photo of a freaking beetle if it's a good photo. I don't care what it is. I'm out there taking pictures of anything and everything. I love wildlife photography. I do it all the time. Now we got cameras, that's even
yeah,
better too.
yeah.
Wildlife
And that's
footage.
thanks to
and
some of our
pictures.
sponsors that have helped us out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're thankful to have the sponsors that we do, and we look forward to making
sure.
more and signing more contracts with
Yeah,
them
more.
and whatnot. And we just started this thing a little 2 years ago.
3 years. I think this
2
year's
years
three,
ago, not
probably.
that
Years
long ago.
yeah.
And you know what? I feel like it's coming along fairly quick. Like
Yeah.
we're growing fairly
Yeah, it's
quick.
awesome.
And
Yeah, on
I'm
that
sure,
note,
yeah.
like give a shout out Tabor Home and Farm and
Yeah.
and Grizz Targets and obviously Vortex and anybody else that's helped us along the way. Like it's been awesome. Like even previous sponsors, like everything that we've done has led us to this point, and
Yeah.
we just keep going, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's wicked.
And also on that note, like give us a follow on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and probably cut her off there, guys. Getting a little long, so
Yeah, no, it's good.
like
It's awesome.
hopefully we can
Good
continue
chat,
to do
guys.
this. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't wait till the next one.
It was good.
Yeah, have a look and see what we do.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep
All right.
doing more of it.
Stay tuned.
Thanks again.